So if this is what it claims to be, it has been a long time in the making, and I'm super excited about it. Today we have a relatively new fragrance from Rasasi. Now Rasasi is a cologne brand that isn't putting out nearly the volume that a lot of these others are. Lattafa, Paris Corner, Fragrance World, and so on, and some of these start to run together and they're all controlled by the same entity, but then they branch out. You guys know what I'm saying. Those guys are really on top of it. They're churning out new clones at a rapid rate, and clone flankers are really starting to become a popular thing as well. Rasasi has always been, a well-renowned clone brand. They've been around for a long time. They got a lot of really popular ones, but they're a little bit more reserved as far as their release schedule goes. And so this is one that is, again, it's relatively new here. Just recently, it popped up on discounters, and it is being marketed as a YSL L'Homme Ultime clone, or alternative, somewhat related to type of thing. So L'Homme Ultime, if you guys are a bit newer to the whole collecting game, it's a really beloved, popular L'Homme flanker, or at least it was before it got discontinued quite a few years ago at this point. And this is something I've said a million times now, and it sounds like I'm beating a dead horse, but this is yet another fragrance that seemed to have gotten discontinued right at its peak hype. When this one was really getting the most amount of talk, a lot of people were really starting to get their hands on it and finally go out there and try it. They ended up discontinuing it, and it was a true discontinuation. Like, as soon as that hit, it's been nearly impossible to get ever since then. It's a shame because it's really good stuff. A nice masculine rose scent with some ginger, some other citruses. Ultimately, it comes down to the fact that this was something unique and different for the time. And still is, but in a world where new releases are being put out that are all smelling similar, L'Homme Ultime was something that went against the grain a little bit. And so everybody was really sad to see it go. It was never cheap to begin with. It was a YSL, so typically $80, $90 on discounters, right? But now it's just absurd. So we're going to go ahead and open this one up. I've had it, and I could have done a review. I decided to just do a first impressions and just kind of, we can experience this together. So I'm making a discovery as we open this puppy up. I guess I'll show you this stuff. The box is pretty standard, nothing to see there. This is my discovery. A little sample of something else, a new launch, according to the back, okay? New launch, Rasasi Wood Excess Pour Homme. So it's a little dabber style sample. I'm not gonna get into this right now, but that's something you don't see often. Here was my other thing I saw, just another pamphlet. Basically, this is not like they're trying to be generous, they're just marketing. So it's not like I'm super thankful or anything. They're just trying to say, hey, we got a whole bunch of other clones as well. You can try these too, and here's a sample of one of them. Looking at the back though, interesting. You can look at the front too, but I haven't heard of any of these. Never seen those before. So maybe they put out more fragrances than I initially thought, but maybe they just don't go to market in the same way that the other clones do. So here's the bottle. Looks really nice, really classy. Different shape to it. A bottle I haven't seen before. Sometimes, not all the time, but clone brands will use kind of more of a stock bottle, and it's been used before. And this very well could be. It could just be one that I just haven't seen yet. Cool detailing there with the cap. Kind of a slight purplish violet blue hue to the glass. So that color is coming from the glass, not from the liquid. So yeah, interesting. Nice looking bottle. Does give off a little bit of a clone look to it, but ultimately all that matters is how does it smell. So okay, that's interesting too. I was trying to pull on this. I thought this was part of the cap. It's not. I'm pulling as hard as I could. Couldn't get the cap to come off. It's just that little piece, not this whole thing. So that's kind of your collar there. Let's see, how good is it? And is it close to YSL L'Homme Ultime? That's the question. And it reminds me of that one almost instantly. A ginger spicy kick, which typically a ginger note will give off obviously a spice, but also a little bit of a brightness. Typically with that note, you'll find some citrus along with it. You know, a lot of times other spices, black pepper, cardamom, pink pepper, you'll find sweeter notes to go along, but a ginger is more of a brighter, uplifting spice to where it'll be accompanied with some citrus and maybe some aromatics. And that's what I'm getting here. Now, one of the notes that is very prominent in YSL L'Homme Ultime is the rose. So it's very much a rose and ginger combination. And I'm getting just a little bit of a floral out of this one. Not necessarily a rose per se, but just a little bit. Also with this one here, definitely an overwhelming amount of freshness, which again is very similar in terms of the L'Homme Ultime comparison. There wasn't a whole lot of sweetness or tonka or anything about that one. It was pretty bright, uplifting, and refreshing all the way through. One thing I do want to mention is FragFlex actually sent over this bottle to me. I was going to buy it. They were going to send me some other stuff, and I said, hey, before you send out that package of other things, which I'll cover soon, can you throw this in? I think it's like $25, $30. They said yes, of course. So I'll link it down below. You can go and pick up a bottle for yourself if you're interested. I thought I would throw that out there. No, Rasasi did not send it to me. And I almost spent my hard-earned $30 on it, but again, FragFlex, a discounter, threw it in for me very graciously. So as per usual, that doesn't, change my views or anything here. I do like this quite a bit. It's not what I would consider to be quite a dead-on L'Homme Ultime clone. That was kind of a jumbled sentence there. Not quite dead on. Now, Rasasi, they do have some more, accurate clones out there, and a lot of other clone brands really get down to the wire and get it extremely accurate. I would say this one is a little bit more of a twist or just a variant on that DNA. Definitely more similar than not, don't get me wrong. When you smell this, it definitely gives off that L'Homme Ultime, just not 100% accurate. I'm gonna see if I can find a note breakdown real quick on this. So I'm not finding an official note breakdown for this one. I don't see it on Fragrantica and all of that stuff. Instead, I'm just gonna pull up the L'Homme Ultime note breakdown, and we'll kind of base that off of what this is going on. So up top on L'Homme Ultime, we have ginger, grapefruit, cardamom, and bergamot. In the mid, we have rose, sage, geranium, and apple. In the base, we have cedar, vetiver, and cashmere wood. So as far as this one goes, no cardamom or anything like that. It's a ginger, citrus right off the top. Now, I will say, as it's settling down, a bit more of the mid is coming through on this Rasasi, so some more of that rose is starting out. You're starting to pick up on some more woods. Off the top, it was a lot more fresh than kind of what I remembered L'Homme Ultime smelling like. And I can put them on side by side. Maybe I'll spray up L'Homme Ultime just to double check my reference here, but it was definitely even more fresh leaning than I remembered. So yeah, L'Homme Ultime's still very fresh off the top too, but the Rasasi was really hammering that home. The other thing with L'Homme Ultime is the rose comes into play quicker. It's right there off the first spray, whereas it was lagging behind a little bit with the clone. And I was picking up on a floral. It wasn't necessarily making itself known exactly what it was yet, but now that it's starting to settle down, I'm kind of seeing the pieces come together with this. Still, I'm not convinced on it being a 100% clone. I think there are definitely a few minor variances, which actually could be somewhat a good thing, especially if you have L'Homme Ultime and if you've worn it for years. This is going to get you very similar, just with a few minor things that are just adjusted a little bit. The premise and the backbone stays the same. It's just a different approach. So this one is coming in at an eau de parfum. So, at the price point it's going for, EDP, pretty similar to L'Homme Ultime. I would say it's stacking up pretty good so far. But with that being said, of course, I have no idea at all in terms of performance. I don't know if it's going to do good, if it's going to be gone in 2 or 3 hours. So, that's something that will have to be evaluated. I can't see it being a weak scent in terms of being gone in 2 or 3 hours or 4. I could see it being more of a 7-hour scent is my guess. Of course, could be wrong. If it could make it to that point for this price, for it being pretty similar to L'Homme Ultime, I would think that would be more than reasonable. And I wouldn't beat it up if it, didn't go for 12 hours or something like a lot of people expect these days. Now, there are a few other scents out there that have kind of been compared to l'Homme Ultime a little bit. One of them is Azzaro Pour Homme Ginger Lover. That sure has a little bit of a similarity going on. Not 100% either, and between those, I would say that this one, the Rasasi, is closer. Ginger Lover also is getting harder to find / discontinued / just expensive now, so that's not really your best option anymore either. I would say with what's on the market right now, at least that I'm aware of, this is going to be one of your better bets if you want to get that l'Homme Ultime DNA on a budget. Again, don't expect something that's 100% accurate, but man, is it pretty close. It's close enough for what I would want out of it. I have the real one, obviously. I have l'Homme Ultime, so if I really want that, I'll just wear it. But it's one of those deals where if you're someone who doesn't and you really want to know what it smells like, you could get this and it's going to get you close enough to where you would be plenty happy with it. Alrighty guys, that's going to do it for me. Rasasi, it's Essential. Nice little l'Homme Ultime twist for an affordable price. I'll link it down below. You can get yours if you want. Also, new releases have been hitting discounters quick. YSL Y Elixir, Hugo Boss The Scent Elixir, also brand new Stronger With You tobacco. Every time those have hit, I've sent out an email and a text to my lists down below. Make sure you jump on there if you want to be able to get these before they sell out. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.